Well, it can stay in the rail, and what you'll end up with is, at one end is a pile of iron molecules at one end, collecting at one end of your system, and rotting rail all throughout. So, and also if you have water pipes running parallel with the rail, or any kind of metal, it could be telephone cables, you could also get electrolysis and that damaging that. And for years that caused Melbourne a lot of headaches, compensating utility companies for damage to their equipment and their infrastructure. So they've spent quite a bit of money retrofitting. There are easy mitigations for all this stuff. Most of it is just effective bonding of the rail, so you truly push it at regular intervals, and various mechanisms to prevent electrolysis. Melbourne's primarily center of the road tram track. So in order to prevent, in Melbourne, of course, we're on the other side of the road, right-hand turns, but in this case it would be left-hand turn vehicles from blocking trams from going straight through. They came up with this idea of hook turns, where, and I'll translate it to North American. If you want to make a left-hand turn, you have to do it from the right-hand lane. So you pull into the right-hand lane, put on your left turn signal, you wait for the light, you pull into the intersection a little bit, wait for the light to turn red, and then you go. Okay, they're really quite exciting, especially for the novice. It actually makes it safer because now you're further away from the tram, so the tram isn't coming from right behind you. You have a better chance of looking around and seeing it. So anyway, those are hook turns. To me, there's just one more reason why you should go with a curbside system. The other advantage of a curbside system is you've already got the stop path built. You don't need ramps because you've got ramps at either end of the block and the sidewalk. Construction is another thing that's right. You want to build it, you've got to build it. There's no way around it. So you're going to have roads dug up. You might have to relocate some underground services or decide when you can access these underground services. Because you're either going to have to stop, you're either going to have to wait until after the last tram is gone before you go and service whatever's underground, or you have to stop trams. And if you stop the trams, you're going to have buses replacing trams and all the excitement that goes with that. So, but construction, it's really no different than road construction. There's a lot of shortcuts that we take. You pre-build the track and drop it into place. The track is typically vibration mounted. There's a pad underneath it, so you have basically a couple of pieces of steel, some concrete, this rubber pad underneath it. Drop that down and weld the track together with another piece in. So that helps with vibrations and also electrolysis and a few other things that you can avoid. Center stops, again, if you can, use curbside. With center stops, you constantly have people walking in and out of traffic, running across to get the tram. We have a few cases where out-of-towners don't realize that that it's against the law to pass a stopped tram because the doors open and people pile out. And so sometimes people get hit getting off the tram. You usually learn pretty quickly that just before you put your foot out, you have a look around and make sure that there isn't a car coming, or a bicycle, or a horse, or somebody, or whatever. But again, another good reason to have curbside stops. Now this is one of our more recent ideas that I consider bad. It's called a mountable stop. And that's where you can see the stop down there. You can actually drive your car right over it and down the other side. The idea was there wouldn't be any pedestrians there. You would wait until the tram came to a stop. The cars would, of course, stop because now there's a stop tram, and they wouldn't want to break the law and pass that tram. So they would walk out across the road, hop on the tram, and away they go. Yeah, I don't like it. If you like it, go ahead and build it, but yeah, I don't think it's a really good idea. Because we've got 500 kilometers of track already there, it's really difficult to move it over. First of all, you have to dig up both lanes of the road. So you basically have to shut down the entire road. You've got the overhead to move. You would lose a row of parking all the time. Anyway, if you're starting from scratch, greenfield site, curbs the way to go. Some of the other ugly things, overhead design. There are some places, this one on the left isn't too bad. There's much worse. There's some that look like, they look like spider webs. That was the old system where everything was rigid. You had to have all these supports and all these poles and cross pieces. And, the one on the right is one of the more recent ones we did in Docklands, which was a new development. It was all reclaimed land. And it's pretty innocuous. You can still see it, but after a while you don't notice it. Also, if you don't look after this thing, there are far too many instances of this in Melbourne where it's poorly maintained, real risk of tripping, wheelchair traps. Again, this is the old bitumen blacktop style of design. Now it's all concrete, and the pieces are more or less prefabricated. So, when you build it, don't build it like this. Make it nice and smooth, nice and easy. Everybody will be happy. And if you're careful where you put these things, this is the entrance into a depot. So that's why they have all these different roads going off to the left. But if you're careful when you plan it out and look at all the risks, it's easy. It's not rocket science at all. Okay, this was the other one for traction power. This system was developed by a company called InnoRail in France. They worked with Alstom, one of the several suppliers of trams. And it operates on a third rail basis, so the little line in the middle, that's the third rail. That's where it picks up its electricity. It actually